Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gary Dick. For 7 years, Indiana tourism has been on a roll. Last year, setting a record $12.7 billion in visitor spending. A study released by Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch in the Indiana Office of Tourism Development shows the number of visitors to Indiana's destinations increased to 80 million last year. Well, overnight visits rose to 31.2 million. Visitor spending adding some $9.8 billion to the state's gross domestic product. And all tourism generated $1.4 billion in the state and supports nearly 200,000 full-time jobs. Our show this week, a special edition of Inside Indiana Business, will feature some of the attractions and organizations driving the Indiana tourism industry. And we begin with the Indiana Dunes, just named a national park. Last year alone, the Dunes saw 3.6 million visitors, putting it 7th in the nation, just behind Yellowstone. According to National Geographic, Indiana Dunes visitor numbers are on par with Mount Rushmore. Joining us now with a look at the Indiana Dunes National Park and what this new designation means is the Executive Director of the Indiana Dunes Tourism, Lorelei Weimer. And Lorelei, welcome to the program.
Well, thanks for having us.
This, it's hard to overstate, I think, the importance of this is big news, this national park designation. To kind of put a bottom line on it right off the top here, how important, how significant is this designation?
You know, it puts us into a very elite group. There are 418 national park units throughout the country. There are only 61 of us that have the national park distinction. And so a lot of visitors want to put that on their bucket list. They want to visit every national park in the nation. And so now we are on that exclusive list.
Can you talk, I mean, it's early in the game here, but in terms of impact, in terms of economic impact and visitors and those types of things, can you put any numbers on that now, or put kind of put a bow around that on what it might be? We
have no idea, but what we do know is we do economic impact studies every 2 years. So our newest impact came out this past year, and it's $476 million of new cash that's coming into our destination annually from visitors. That at least gives us a baseline to look at as the years go on to see how that grows, and probably we're going to see that impacted greatly because of this new distinction.
This tourism asset is truly remarkable in the northwest corner of the state. Already the state's biggest tourist attraction, right? And as we were talking off camera, just becoming a national park, you're already in the top 10 of national parks.
And I think that's what surprises most people. We have 3.6 million visitors annually. When you look at all the national parks, we're right under Yellowstone, and so we're 7th in the nation just in recreational visits.
As you look at some of the features, and there are so many there, but one that caught my eye, that surprised me, is the biodiversity at the Indiana Dunes, and what a unique place it really is.
You know, we're also ranked one of the top places in the U.S. for biodiversity. Paul Labovitz, who's the superintendent of the National Park Service for us, he says, you know, we're crossroads of America, but we're also the crossroads of biodiversity in Northwest Indiana. And that is significant. The birthplace of ecology was born in the Indiana Dunes, which is significant.
Yeah. How about in terms of the impact already? Because how much impact spreads out from the dunes already to businesses, vendors, the employees, all that type of thing? It's already significant.
So how we look at it from a destination perspective is the dunes is the hook. It's what's bringing the visitors in. But our job at the Tourism Bureau is to get those visitors to shake off the sand south of the dunes, and that's what drives the real spending, is to get them into our communities, to stay at our hotels, go to our restaurants, shop. And then we belong to a 7-county Northern Indiana initiative where we want our fellow Northern Indianans, right, maybe stay in Porter County, but then go visit the Amish country or Notre Dame country. So there's a lot of synergy up there in the north.
Let's talk about, too, an issue, as we're talking about this national park designation. There's an erosion issue at one of the locations there that I know you're dealing with in a big way right now.
Yes, Portage Lakefront Park is one of the newest beaches. It was established 10 years ago. What we're doing is, Congressman Visklowski has a vision, which is the Marquette Plan, is to reclaim some of those industrial sites. This is one of the first ones in our area. Very popular beach. Unfortunately, though, it's an erosion issue that is going on. We've already lost one of our hiking biking paths and handicap viewing platforms.
Yep.
So it's significant, and so we're working with the state to try to secure funding to fix the problem.
Yeah, only about 20 seconds, but I need to mention, you mentioned Pete Visclosky, congressman, who 20 years has been after this designation right, so he deserves a lot of kudos for helping to make this happen.
He is the man that made it happen.
Yeah, all right. Lorelei Weimer is Executive Director of Indiana Dunes Tourism. A lot going on in Northwest Indiana. Look forward to following that story going forward.
Great, well thank you for having us again.